What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with a special episode of Cloud Meets Mainstream. We've been on hiatus for a while and we are thankful to be back. Thank you very much for all of you that do support the platform and continue to do so despite the hiatus. We really appreciate it, and we're really looking for being more here consistently week after week with this content. This is something that we do for our members every week, where we give you guys first dibs, first cracks at my thoughts on cloud related issues that could have significant impact on mainstream gaming. And why is that even important? Why is that even a thing? Well, I know that we as cloud gamers, particularly through the advent of Stadia, felt like that we needed to shelter ourselves from the mainstream gaming community because, you know, they misunderstood and misrepresented Stadia and cloud gaming in general. They told a lot of mistruths and didn't argue in good faith and just did a lot of bad things to besmirch the name of cloud gaming. I get that. Nonetheless, we still can't avoid the reality that we need mainstream gamers in order to make cloud gaming reach its maturation level that we all believe it can. So it's going to take some work. It's going to take some conversion. And more importantly, it's going to take some understanding. It's going to take some understanding on what we need these platforms and services to do in order to make those strides to convert mainstream gamers over to this side. In order to do that, one of the things that I always talk about is we got to make mainstream gamers feel like that they are getting added benefits of cloud gaming without losing the pillars of the experience that they so desire, right? In today's topic, we kind of really dive deep into such. Gamescom is coming up. It's a few days from the time of this recording, and the experience is not what it used to be. Jeff Keighley has taken over being the head honcho as far as talking about Gamescom and introducing it to people and getting people excited about not only Gamescom, but just gaming events altogether. And I don't feel like Jeff in his approach is the most welcoming and frankly the most entertaining source for video game related stuff. I just don't. Like this past Summer Games Fest, I think is evident of that, where pretty much Microsoft, and some may argue Nintendo, saved that just because there just wasn't anything there. It just is starting to feel like that instead of us getting a suitable replacement for the E3 experience that was really the big whoop to do annually, that Jeff has swooped in, found an opportunity to make some money, some advertising bucks off of something, brought in his production company to line his pockets. And thus we're just left with a lackluster presentation of various games. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. There's a couple of things that could happen. Now, I did a piece over, shameless plug, over on MM2K Gaming News. Definitely check it out. Again, it's not for the faint of heart. Most of our content is not for, it's not safe for work. We let it all hang over there. I talked passionately about my affinity for E3, the E3 style format, and my disappointment and dismay that we had so many people say we don't need an E3. I think they did it for fanboy reasons, and not realizing and not understanding that, okay, coming with that approach, now you've relieved a lot of these game companies, publishers, and developers from a level of accountability that I think, frankly, made games better. A lot of people are complaining now, like, where are the games? Like, I don't really feel it this generation. That, I feel like this generation is a waste. I don't really feel like it's a boost. Now, I think some of that is overblown. But to be fair, I mean, look, when you look at games this generation, they are continuing the trend from last generation, where we're just getting prettier versions of like the same 4 or 5 type of games that we got in the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. What am I talking about? In that generation, they introduced us to games like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, right? A BioShock, Uncharted, and Souls. All 4 of those genres have eerily been regurgitated over and over again, where those are the overwhelming type of games that we're getting. Now, granted, at the time that those games were released, they were revolutionary. They were serious expansions of their predecessors. We are not seeing serious expansions of predecessors. We're seeing games look more and more polished, but they're looking like more and more polished versions of game ideas and innovation that is 2 generations old. I want to show you guys something. Here we go. Something from our good friend Christopher Dring from GamesIndustry.biz. I want to, this right here breaks down everything that I've been telling you guys. Here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's do this right here. So in this tweet, Chris says, to quote the producers of Assassin's Creed Shadows, "You want to avoid redoing work. Making games is difficult. It takes a lot of time and passion, and you want to avoid doing the same things but differently. You want to build on top of work and improve on it," right? And Rhino, this tweeter says, Assassin's Creed Shadows animations appear to have been carried over from Mirage. How do you feel about the reuse of assets? So, reusing of assets is not a new thought, right? Reusing of assets is nothing new. It's happened over and over again. But it feels like that these games that really haven't revolutionized themselves since the 360 era, except for in visuals, it seems like that a lot of these games are just recycled, more polished assets from previous installments, right? Because the game industry is hard work, we get it, but because of that hard work and trying to cut corners, they do it to forsake innovation. Like when BioShock hit, those felt like astoundingly enhanced versions of games, even from the previous generation. BioShock, Mass Effect, Uncharted, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they were astoundingly enhanced versions of games that just came out the generation prior. Don't feel like that anymore. These games just look prettier, more polished, more defined versions of games that we pretty much saw 3 or 2 generations ago. Right? That's not good. That's not something, because gaming is always supposed to be innovative, right? Gaming is always supposed to be innovative. Gaming is always supposed to be taking things to the next level. And when they don't do that, we're losing a core piece of what makes gaming so great and why it's become so popular. Is because of that ingenuity, not just when it comes to tech, but in the artistry of it. So because of that, the game industry just feels flat right now. A lot of people are feeling that push of flatness. And it's time for new innovative ways for people to interact with games at the very least. Like, if we're not going to get the most innovative game loops and stuff like that. How about we enhance the way that we interact with these games, right? So in comes Gamescom, and in comes, I feel, Opening Night Live, which is hosted by Jeff Keighley. Again, for full disclosure, and again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just assessing the talent. I'm not enamored with Jeff Keighley presentations. Never have been. I've been following Jeff Keighley's, or I've been observing Jeff Keighley's content since he was on G4. I have a huge appreciation for his love of games, but it's so cookie cutter, so bland to me, and really he's not doing much with his replacing of E3. It's just, to me, it's just like he's swooping in his production company. They're lining their pockets. But doesn't have to be that way, Jeff. You know, you can get what you're on your Open Night Live people. And even if the presentations aren't the greatest, because maybe the games aren't the most innovative, you can still do more to enhance the viewer experience versus just like selling tickets. We see here is selling tickets and come on August 20th to Cologne, blah, 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 right? You know, you get to learn a little bit more about Jeff Keighley, yeah, all that stuff, right? Let's do more. Let's take a look at the games, though. What are the games that we are going to see here? Okay, so here are the games that we're going to see. Nightmares 3, Dragon Ball, Shattered Space, Diablo, Awakening, all this cool stuff, right? And I even like this setup. I think this is awesome. We got Inatria Last Song. I played that demo. We got Veil, in which, I mean, that looks awesome. Ocean Drive Studios. Now let's take a look at this one. I mean, I think this presentation style is cool. Look, here goes the game right here. Okay, it's a strategy game. Look at that, right? It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. You know what I'm saying? And then it gives you a little bit of information of the developer, right? And then here goes some stills of what's going on. I mean, it still looks cool. I like the art design. You know what I'm saying? Okay, why is that blurred out? Maybe it's blurred out because they're not going to release that until later. But this is cool, right? Okay, now it's not blurred out. Okay, all right. Some issues here. All right, so I think that's cool. I like that. I like this a lot. It's, you know, as far as the presentation style. I like that. Let's see if we find anything else. We got this game, an Unknown 9 Awakening, right? And here goes some stills of that. You know, that looks awesome too. That looks very cool. Right? Let's see what else we got here. We got Aura, History Told, Age of Mythology. Of course, we got Indiana Jones. We've seen plenty of that. Shattered Space. Let's see here. As We Descend. I don't know what that is. Is this like a let's take a look. Okay, bookmark. You can bookmark it, but there doesn't seem to be. Oh no, there's photos. Okay, this is like, okay, so they look like they have different slides and different sections and different ways for you to see what games are coming. I don't really see a lot of what looks like big ticket games. There goes Stalker 2 is one of the games that I was like particularly interested in. Copy link. Okay, so for the Stalker page, they got video up here. This stream that you can see. Let's take a look at it. There you go. There goes some of the stream from Stalker 2. And I was a big fan of the first Stalker game. I will say this. As far as performance-wise, I was a little disappointed to see the level of downgrade. But again, you know, I understand that the developer is going through a lot of strife right now, so I can completely understand. The fact that they're still able to release a game is still amazing in so many ways. That being said, you know, we'll see what this game is all about when it releases. We'll see. We'll see how groundbreaking or pivotal this game ends up being by the time it releases. Okay. All right. So with that said, yeah, there seems to be there's a big volume of games being shown that are going to be released. There goes Outlaws. I'm just scrolling through right now. Of course, we saw Warhammer, right? And the games that I've been particularly looking at, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I hope that makes it to the cloud. I'm just looking at games, and I love this setup. I think this setup is totally awesome, right? This is cool, but it could be better. It could be better, because we don't need you to just bookmark and collectively just bookmark a bunch of slideshows or whatever, right? We don't need you to do that for us. What we want to see is what is coming down the pike for these games. Like, how are these games going to play? What are these games going to be about? Things like that we generally would get from the E3 states. Jeff Keighley has yet to properly put something tangible in front of the viewing or listening public that isn't there. And I don't think that's sufficient enough. I don't really, if I'm being honest, it's not acceptable to me. But here's where cloud gaming can change all that. All right. So in order to participate, right, you have to, besides just watching, in order to participate, you have to show up and buy a ticket. And then you get, from what I understand, there will be certain booths there, because there was some at Summer Games Fest. So there'll be booths there, and you can play various games. Here's my question. It's 2024. I feel like that if you are going to do something for the sake of gamers' presentation style, the element that you cannot forsake, that you cannot sacrifice, is the accountability element. The thing that made E3 so important wasn't the fact that we just saw a bunch of games, but some of the biggest games that people were trying to sell us on, that people were trying to get us to pre-order and dedicate our hard-earned money to. There was accountability involved. You had to be accountable. We need to see a vertical slice of this game. And I know we've heard the horror stories. Oh my God. It takes away from so much production time in order to do this. Oh, it really hampers the game when we have to do this. Oh, if only we didn't have to do this. And now that E3 is gone, they'll be rid of that task, right? Let me ask you a question. Since E3 stopped being around, do you think games got better? Like, generally speaking, do you think games got better? I don't. I don't think they got better. I don't think they've tried to push the envelope more. I don't think they've tried to bring more innovation. I mean, I love what PlayStation's doing with his games, but outside of them, like, who was the last group that really put something together that was very, very innovative? And even if the game is good, where's the level of accountability on performance and stuff like all that stuff made you accountable at E3? So I feel like Jeff Keighley, what he's doing is he's giving us a mirage of presentability and saying, yeah, this is better than, it's more efficient than E3, but he doesn't have a grasp on accountability. That was a major component of E3. What am I trying to say? in so many words, as cool as these silhouettes and as cool as what those things are, like, I really like that. I think that's cool. You know what would be even better? If I, the gamer, could pay a digital ticket and through GeForce Now or Boosteroid or whomever, I could play these games. Like, GeForce Now has the day passes for, what's it called? And I understand that would force GeForce Now to increase capacity, but y'all can split revenue sharing. Y'all can split revenue sharing. And if I buy a ticket, like, maybe what you do is you have these games available in advance. You say, hey, look, here's how many tickets are available. Like, you limit the availability of tickets. Here's how many tickets are available for our watch and play sessions. And if you're able to raise capacity in order for people to be able to do it later, then you go ahead and do so. But here's tickets for the watch and play, you know what I'm saying, aspect of the game awards. And what you do is you allow people to, when I click on these games, like if I click on Little Nightmare, oh yeah, I get this little visual demo. But here's a button that says right here that says play. And it takes me right into the game while the event is happening. And I can actually play a vertical slice of the game. Everybody's making money off of this. You're making money. GFN's making money, or Boosteroid, or whoever's making money, or Luna's making money. The developers can get some money out of this. Like, maybe y'all can sell the tickets, where people get backdoor access, where, for opening night live, there's special access, interview access with certain gamers or certain developers, rather. You bring some of these devs in there. There's one-on-one sessions. You can have Skype calls. And people can submit questions. Like, I really think there's more that can be done to where, regardless of if the game catalog is light or strong, you make it more interactive and more rewarding for the gamer, and you push this thing forward, damn it. It's 2024. Cloud gaming is better than ever. What are we doing here? Why isn't this being done? I get the logistics behind it are not going to be simple, but you gotta crawl before you walk. Maybe say, look, we're gonna have select people do this. This is the first time we're doing this. Maybe you give 1,000 tickets. Maybe you max it out at 1,000 tickets. Maybe you max it out at 1,000 tickets at $40 a pop. People will get special access to demo these games. They'll get special access to dev conversations during Skype calls or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They can log into the calls and they can submit questions that can be asked, right? I don't see why that would be a problem. I don't see why that would be a problem. So, with that being said, I think it's time that we push back. I know a lot of people in the cloud gaming community, they just want it easy peasy as far as our interaction. They don't want a lot of complaining. They don't want a lot of pushback. Let's just play games. But look, if there's something that you desire that is not being totally recognized for its worth, then there has to be pushback. We have to exercise our consumer options to get what we want. We did it staunchly as Stadia gamers, and I think to in a very effective degree. We got a number of gamers to bring their properties to Stadia and Stadia to entice it, and didn't, and I think it made the platform better for it. Why can't we carry that over and go to these mains and say, look, Jeff, I don't think this is enough. Like, where are the partnerships with it? We get that you're lining your pockets, and see a lot. I get it. A lot of people say MM2K, you take it a little bit too far, right? And you're criticizing, but sometimes you got to have those coming to Jesus moments with people because it's a true motivator. When you let them know that you're conscientious to what they're doing and what their agenda is, that sends a signal to them like, oh, damn. Maybe the gig is up. Maybe I'm not getting away with something. I'm sorry. It's abundantly clear that Jeff Keighley is swooping in, taking advantage of the fact that E3 had some inefficiencies that hampered its ability to continue their showcases. And he's basically going to these publishers and saying, well, look, you guys still want to show your games, but how about we make it easier for you? We make it easier for you, not just in the form of you not having to, break your bank to do it, but how about you just show stuff and we bring the masses to the yard? You ain't got to be accountable for nothing. We're just working off of sheer volume. It's not, we're working off of sheer volume. We're working off of nostalgia. We're working off the fandom of it all. And you lose the need for accountability. I think we need to call him out on it because he's lining his pockets. Hundreds of thousands of dollars from what it was being rumored for 30-second or minute-long ads. But you're not enhancing the experience for gamers at all. Like if anything else is worse. I mean, we're seeing a bunch of clips, but where are the interviews? Where are the interviews? Where's the sections where the public gets to see E3 sponsored publications talking to developers, having them showcase the game and their deep dives going into? Where are those at? Like the accountability is just gone. It's like this secrecy, even though there's people reviewing these games, the secrecy is being supported here. No. Let me try it out for myself, put the game in my hands. I think that ultimately what needs to happen is there needs to be a partnership. And look, I'm not against people making money. Of course, this is business. I'm not on the opposite state of mind for that. I'm not against that. But let's do something in a way that benefits everybody. Let's add balance to this. Sure, make your money, put your cost up for your ads, but let's put some skin in the game as far as being accountable for the gamer and not just taking advantage of the fandom that's there. Let's partner with some cloud gaming services. Let's maybe start off slow. Let's reach a maximum of 1,000 tickets. At least for the game report, 1,000 tickets. And let's put some games out there that people can sample. And let's do our best to get the most accountable games out there. And then let's add an incentive to it. The game developer themselves get 70% of the proceeds. 15% goes to GeForce Now. The other 15% goes to Jeff Keighley. I think here's why that works. See, I'm big on accountability no matter what. But the more you balance things out and make things lucrative for all parties, the more acceptance it gets. You see how this services everybody? We, the gamers, get to interact at a more up-to-date level, the way that it should have been really for like a few years now. Like the cloud gaming has been sufficient enough to where this should have been rolled out, right? But you could have a thing to where now game companies are being more accountable in this regards. And here's the thing. This is where it gets even better than it was for these game developers than it was at E3, because at E3 you were asked to be accountable and there was no kickback besides if you did a good job, you got attention. Here you can get attention and you get monetary benefit to help you further produce your game. I think that's the secret sauce of success for Larian. They have a masterful strategy where you get an opportunity to try vertical slices of the game in advance, time vertical slices. You got to pay for it though. So they're polished just enough that you can enjoy them. They're still rough, but again, you get what you understand what you're getting, but you get enough of the game to where it really will mold your decision. Oh, can I get the rest of this? And then you get to polish it. You get instantaneous feedback and the game gets polished, and wow, that's a lot of feedback that you can take back to enhancing your game. And you actually get monetary benefit to do so. If something like that became a norm, these developers, I feel, would be scratching and clawing to, again, this would be even more beneficial to Jeff, scratching and clawing to not only pay for ads, but then maybe license a a business, a consumer liaison license at Opening Night Live and with his production company. Meaning, if you pay us a fee, that will grant you access to, you know what I'm saying? Like, in order to be part of the Opening Night Live fandom experience, and for you to be able to fully participate, here's an annual fee that you have to pay me, or here's a fee that you pay in advance quarterly or something like that, the quarter before we come out, right? And that gives you a la carte access to what happens. So based upon people's activity, we'll generate reports. We'll show you guys, how much activity your game got. And then based upon that activity and based upon what was paid, we'll come up with a reasonable formula to where you'll get X amount of money from from that activity. Right? And that way you'll get the best of the best. You can do it that way, or you could just split it up between all the developers that you're going to allow to have there. You know what I mean? Either you could do it either way. Maybe do a community poll and say, hey, do a community choice poll and say, hey, which games would you like to do? Here's the people that applied and said, we want access. Let's do a poll and see who gets granted access to be able to stream you, because this is who we're doing the revenue split with. There's a bunch of, like, if a group of smart people sat down just for a week, they could figure this out and hash this out and get this rolling. But it's about us holding them accountable. They're not going to do it unless we open our mouths. So that's my thought. I really think that Gamescom, Jeff Keighley, who swooped in, and I don't really think had all of gamers' intentions. I mean, he swooped in, saw a financial cha-ching opportunity, and he's taking advantage of it. But we can utilize his reach, his desire to make money, which ain't necessarily a bad thing, and then just spruce it up with, hey, look, be accountable for us too. And if it can be, if we can present it to them in a lucrative way, it'll benefit everybody. But I think that's what we need to do. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on how Gamescom can be enhanced by cloud gaming. But let me know what you think. Let us know in the comment section below. Like we always say, if you like this content, check out the links to follow me. Like I said, I cover mainstream gaming. We do a lot of stuff over on MM2K Gaming, and we're looking to expand even further. This show, if you're watching this live, thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching the VOD, we air this show every Thursday on Cloud Dosage, and we do the public rebroadcast the following Wednesday. So you can wait for the public rebroadcast, but if you want to be part of the show, you want to post questions, things like that, come and join us during the live stream on Thursdays. And if we get enough participation in the live streams, we'll do giveaways. But again, it has to make business sense, as all things do. Okay. All right. With that said, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. Until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.